Hey, first things first, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the overwhelming support on my last post. Fully uploaded, expecting it just to have the one upvote, and it absolutely blew up. I got 10,000 views within the first day, and like not even first day, like first 12 hours. I'm shocked. I did just want to quickly clarify, my post has been temporarily removed because I decided to attach the asset links that I've been using, and unfortunately that made Redis auto mod system just flag it. I've contacted the moderators and they should hopefully have it back up here running soon. I don't think it will take them too long. Here, I can show you. It's right here. Yeah, show you right here. Yeah, this post has been removed by Redis filters. I just had to edit it again so it didn't have any links in it. It's just waiting for them to get back to me, and hopefully it's all sorted. But anyways, on to the actual showcase. So I wanted to showcase my replication system today that I've been working on for the Anthem's flight recreation, and as of today, I have got it working flawlessly. It is fantastic. So let's load it up here and give you guys a quick showcase. So obviously you got two players here for right now. I want to work on adding more. I just want to get solidly working on the two first. But like hover mode fully working with the rotation. This rotation logic right here, I had a little bug with that I had to fix yesterday. And then obviously if you stop flying, the overheat bar goes back down. Here, I'll switch to the bigger camera. So yeah, if I fly, the bar fills up. If I just move around, eventually once I'll overheat, it will just force me to stop flying. Just like that. And then obviously if I start flying from the same point, the bar fills back up from the same continuous point. Then the next thing I got fully replicated was obviously the fast flight system and the logic for the cooldown when diving. That was pretty handy. I've made it so that if you're only going down a tiny bit, then it cools down slower, and if you dive right down, it cools super fast. These values can all be changed later. They're just right now a bit of a placeholder value. And then obviously I got the superhero landing fully replicated now. That had a couple issues because I was using an activate and deactivate node, which replication really didn't like. But yeah, and obviously both players can fly at the same time and have their own timers based on the overheat system, so they don't intertwine with each other. My biggest thing I was having issues with was actually rotation logic, and I'll show you how I fix that in just a few moments. So let's showcase some of the blueprints now. If we go into my first things first, I'll show you that replication logic for the rotation. I just had to create a custom function that runs on the server and essentially just gets the active rotation and makes sure it updates in real time. And first things first we'll go through is probably my overheat system here. And I have a couple notes. Let me just find them. Yeah, so I built this whole overheat system completely from scratch. It took me about 2 days on and off working on it. It tracks the current player's flight time and then forces an overheat once the out limit is reached, obviously. This stops the flight state and then handles the cooldown before the player can fly again. Obviously, so I just showed that. It works pretty goddamn well, in my opinion. And then, obviously, it also... there's a whole overheat cooldown system that I had to then make as well, and this is the logic behind when you're diving down. So depending on the range you're going, which is this range right here, so depends on, it has like 4 values depending on how steep you're going, 4 being dive straight down, and that's max cooling rate, right? And then for this whole overheat system, I had to learn how to make UE5 material UI goddamn UI materials. I'm so used to working in Unity, and this isn't something we have in Unity at all. I would say the closest thing we have is shaders, but I never have messed with any sort of material UI system ever, and so this took me a little while to learn. This essentially is like just adds this white bar. It seems super simple, but it lets me, by doing it this way instead of having an actual just progress bar, I can change like the curve amount. So if I wanted to make it more curved, I can change that value. If I wanted to change the thickness of it. I can just set this to like 0.1, and this I also had to make completely from scratch. It took me a hot little minute to figure out this fill amount. This fill amount value is then passed into my my UI widget, which I'll show you in just a second. And essentially this is then that UI widget gets my max flight time value and passes that into the fit amount. So that's like, if this was 0.1, that would be like we're just barely full, and then obviously 1 would be we've overheated. And then I had to do a whole bunch of if and multiplies and smooth steps here because I was having issues with it being very snappy. I can actually show you that right now. If we go into my graph here, into my widget, I essentially had this clamp value be the scalar parameter value, and that was causing some weird UI bugs. It was like, here, I'll switch to this one. The bar is very, very snappy instead of being a smooth fill. And so it took me a little while how to figure that out. And the best way to do it was add an interpolation and then overhaul the actual UI material just a tiny bit. So that let me, that just meant I could do this. I could just pass this straight into here, add the interpolation to it, and then we get this real smooth fill bar, and it goes down really, really smooth too. And I'm really happy with that it turned out. Again, I made this whole script myself as well. I made the cooldown system. I made some of the animation logic as well. Obviously, there is a lot of logic still used by Hayes' flight controller. I'm not going to say I made it all. I am very new to Unreal Engine. I've been in Unity for about 6 years, but a lot of the systems here are different, and blueprints are something I'm brand new to. So I found that asset and I used it as a really good reference point, and I've just got really, really good at modifying the asset to my needs. So I'll show you here in just a sec. The whole over the hover system I had to create myself, which is this logic right here. This is the actual calculate player input, which essentially is the it essentially makes a strafe logic. This is like the actual strafe moving left, right, up, down, back, forth. Whereas this is the flight rotation logic for strafing, which I made this whole bottom section here. This essentially, it detects if I'm not in fast flight mode, and if I'm not in fast flight mode, it rotates based on mouse movement and not input direction, whereas the actual fast flight system works based off input direction. That causes my character to rotate, if that makes sense. It's a little complicated, but it did the job. And same thing with this. I just had to detect if fast flight was true, and if fast flight is true, then it will use the regular player input for the lean. And I'll show you the lean animation blueprint here in a second that I also had to modify. So I made like the bottom half of this, and I modified a tiny bit over here, I believe. And then obviously I made all this. Oh, I accidentally just closed out of my CBP blueprint. So let's just pull that back up. And yeah, this was the server side flight rotation. And then I think last tool I've got to show you is the actual animation side of things. And so this is, we have a flight state machine. Hayes did make this flight state machine, but I did modify the hover function. My hover function works by adding a new D blend space, and that's just for forward and backward logic, because his, as it wasn't strafe movement before, it was literally just left, right, up, down, and then speed was the forward vector. Which did work. I wanted to recreate the hover flight mode as much as I could from Anthem, so I ended up just modifying this logic a bit. I just had to create a new apply additive and put in this blend space with the lean Y value. And then speaking of lean, I had to calculate the flight lean. So I was having issues because I deleted this whole bottom portion thinking it wasn't needed previously. This is his original flight rotation lean logic, which is needed for the fast flight. I wasn't aware that he needed the map range clamped. What I ended up making was all this stuff right here. This is the lean logic for obviously the hover mode. This is what lets the animations play for going like left, right, forward, back, and it's all additive and smoothed out. So it looks very, very buttery smooth. And yeah, that's what that stuff is. Super, super complex. I've been rambling here for a minute now, but yeah, this was super, super fantastic. And I think that's everything I needed to show. If there's anything you guys want questions or a bit more in-depth explanation of, just let me know in the comments below and or on the post itself, and I'm more than happy to explain everything. Is there anything else? I think that's everything. Again, I would just there was a bit of confusion on my last post. I am not an animator. I am a programmer. So I did use a paid animation asset. I don't know where the confusion came from there. But I didn't use any of the logic from the superhero flight animations because it's super outdated, and also it's not the logic I was looking for. It's that was made for the regular character controller. I'm obviously using the GASP animation system provided by Unreal Engine 5. And it's been super, super powerful. Never had any issues with it. And then I stumbled across his flight controller, and I have a lot of his, well, I wouldn't say a lot, I have a lot of his logic as a reference point that I have then modified myself for the needs to get it working how Anthem works. And then the last thing I did do is just modify the camera controller so that when in fast flight mode, you're like directly in the middle of the screen, and when in hover mode, your camera's slightly to the left of the screen. And it's been doing great. I'm really happy with the system. Replication works absolutely fantastic. No issue. Oh crap! There's some issues of me collision, but that's not too. That's just base. That's not even a replication issue. I just need to tweak the collision mode. But yeah, it's going really good. And again, I would just like to thank you so much for your overwhelming support on the last post. Getting 10,000 views within 12 hours is absurd. Was not expecting the amount of support and interest in my project. This was quite literally just a showcase for my portfolio to go in. And I think it's gonna start turning into something a bit more complex. My good friend is a 3D modeler, and they might be joining on the project, who they're gonna be making the 3D models and animations for. So I won't be relying on paid animation assets forever. Right now, I did say everything is placeholder right now. I think the next system I'm gonna be working on is the weight system, so that hover flight feels a lot slower and more weighty. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm gonna stop rambling here, and hopefully this video is not too long for Reddit, and you guys are interested in seeing everything here. And I'm gonna keep posting more updates on the Reddit, and then I'm gonna post some more YouTube videos out there. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thank you for watching.